What's up, everybody out there? How you doing? And thank you guys so much for tuning in over here to Peppy's Point of View. And well, we're going to talk about some Peppy entertainment news. That's right. Yes, I love talking about my R&B divas, but as I said before, sometimes I like dishing out the dirt on who dropped, kicked who in these entertainment streets, literally and figuratively speaking. And so let's just jump right into it. And I want to talk about Martin Lawrence real quick. Now, I came across this on my news feed, and I don't watch the Emmys. I've never watched them, the Golden Globe Awards and all of that stuff. Like, I just never really got into it. And so I've never watched it. And I really don't plan on watching it ever. But anyway, so I see that, Martin Lawrence is trending because people are concerned about, if he's in good health or not because of his Emmy appearance. And you know what? I have a theory. And of course, this is all alleged. I haven't watched any other bloggers or anything like that to get their take on it. So I would be interested in knowing probably, their take on it. But this is the thing when I'm thinking about these entertainers, the actors, actresses, singers, musicians, all of these people in the entertainment industry, when it comes to their PR, their management, or the executives of these companies that they have contracts with. And sometimes I'm like, wait a minute, you guys, do you really and truly think we're falling for the okie doke, regarding, some of these things that you put out, as far as, the excuses or the reasons behind something. And I think in this case, honestly, the people who was questioning it really and truly were concerned, about Martin. Like, this is not, people going around trying to speculate anything or come up with any kind of wild theories or anything like that. It's like, is he okay? Like, did he just have a stroke? Like, and all those kinds of things. But anyway, so let me read this article, a little bit of this article from the Daily News, and then I'm going to let you guys know what I actually think about what happened. So the Daily News says here, Martin Lawrence reportedly in good health following fan concern during the Emmys. Martin Lawrence supporters are reportedly throwing cold water on speculations that he might be sick following the recent appearance at the 2024 Emmy Awards. The 58-year-old funny man reunited with his former Martin co-stars as part of a lineup of tributes honoring iconic TV series such as Grey's Anatomy, The Sopranos, and All in the Family. Towards the end of the skit, Lawrence transitioned into presenting the award for Outstanding Lead Actor in a comedy series, but began to visibly have trouble reading from the teleprompter, pausing and slurring his words. I want to stop right there. Because notice that it says that he transitioned into presenting the award for the Outstanding Lead Actor. All right. Now, I had to go back because I saw a snippet of it. Him presenting the award. And then I stopped. I said, wait a minute, hold on for a second. Did this just happen? Like the fan said, did Martin just have, what appeared to be to the fan a stroke, as he was presenting the award? And so in my mind, I'm asking myself the question, wait a minute, but what was Martin like? How was he before all of this? Okay. So I looked around and tried to find another clip of Martin when on the set, on the stage with his co-stars, right? And so as I am watching it, I'm saying to myself, oh, I think I know what was probably going on. Like I said, it's alleged, but if you take what I am about to say under consideration, then you would say, you know what, Pepe, he's not far, he's not reaching. I'm not reaching at all. But anyway, let's finish this last two sentences or so, and then I'll talk to you guys about what I think actually occurred on the before they got on the stage. Okay. The fans said, is MartinLawrence okay? Because he did not look good here at all. Fans immediately took to social media to voice their concerns about his health, asking questions like, did MartinLawrence have a stroke just now? However, sources with direct knowledge tell TMZ that Lawrence is in tip-top shape. In fact, the former What's Happening Now breakout is reportedly heading on a comedy tour after recently wrapping up the latest installment of Bad Boys with Will Smith. I hope it's better than the last one. I really do. The outlet reported that Lawrence's missteps during the live broadcast were attributed to a technical glitch with the teleprompter caused by late changes to the script. But fans may have had a reason to express concern. In 1999, Lawrence suffered an apparent heat stroke and fell into a 3-day coma, during which time he was placed in critical condition. The Big Mama's house star reportedly collapsed during a jog while wearing several layers of clothing in a near-fatal attempt to lose weight for an upcoming film role. See, that's the thing. I don't know if Daily News never, or if it's the PR people, or I don't know if it was the Daily News that kind of got their information kind of mixed up. But you have to consider, and I don't understand why people are not thinking about this, the PR people, but you have to stop and ask yourself, wait a minute, before we just throw out any old kind of excuse, let us remember what we were probably said the last time this occurred, okay? And that's where I want to kind of tackle right now. What was the last thing that was said when this sort of thing happened? And I'm glad they brought up the 1999 incident. Now, Daily News is saying that MartinLawrence had several layers of clothes on. He was trying to lose weight, and it was a near-fatal attempt of him trying to lose weight for an upcoming film role. Well, I'm just going to say it this way. That's not what Martin had said in one of his comedy shows when he finally started to talk about what was going on, And if I'm not mistaken, there was also an issue where MartinLawrence was also having issues with some of the executives on the MartinLawrence show as well, and that MartinLawrence was reportedly, had some things that he got off his chest. I'll put it to you this way, regarding how he felt about the executives of the show. And one report was saying, and this, like I said, way back in the late 90s, one report was saying that MartinLawrence actually came in dressed up as Shanae and pretty much cursed the entire set out, the people out. He had did that. There was also, I remember other reports saying that, MartinLawrence was running around in the streets saying that, there were some people, or people was out to get him and so on and so forth, and that he was probably, let's just say he consumed some things, and that's the reason why he was running around, in the heat with all of these clothes on, and he, had a heat stroke. So again, him trying to lose weight for a film role, I don't remember when this happened. I don't remember this being any of the reasons for that. So that's that on that. But let me talk about briefly here what I think occurred. I don't know if anybody was noticing this, but when I went back to see their particular segment of the Emmys, I don't think you guys noticed this, but I noticed it. MartinLawrence was not involved in the skit. He just basically, mouthed a couple of words like, yeah, ooh, wow, this is great, so on and so forth. But for the most part, the dialogue was between Gina, Pam, I don't know why I'm going to call him Cole, but I'm going to say Cole. Cole, and then Anthony Anderson came out. So for the most part, All of those people were the ones who were involved in the dialogue as far as this, their particular segment. Martin didn't say a word, pretty much. And for that to happen with all of the things that the back and forth that could have gone on between all of them, especially Martin, taking jabs at, Cole and Gina. Cole and Pam, he didn't do that. You see what I'm saying? And he didn't take any jabs at Gina. And I guess I can only assume the reason why is because of the things that have happened to them in the past. But what I'm basically saying is that Martin didn't say a lot. That's where I'm going with this. So for them to say about some last minute changes to the teleprompter, I don't think that was a reason at all. I just really and truly don't. I think, and my opinion is that Martin already had some issues with possibly, a speech just in general. And this could have been something that has been ongoing for a while, ever since the 1999 incident. Now, I want to say this. People, when they have strokes, it affects people differently, right? So say, for instance, Martin, as far as, how do I want to say it? His speech could be just well, like he could talk and speak, have a conversation with you, and everything is great on that end, right? But if he's trying to read the teleprompter, if he had a stroke, back in 1999 and any of the years in between, then it could affect, his ability to read. So I'm thinking that that's probably what happened as well, is that he's having difficulty probably, reading. Now, some other people, it can affect them as far as writing. Like, okay, they can read, but when it's time for them to start writing, they have an issue with, trying to write, legibly. So that could be the issue. So that's what I'm thinking right now is that maybe they felt as if he was, it was okay for him to, present the award and to speak, but never thought about him, his ability to read the teleprompter. You understand what I'm saying? And again, I also go back to the fact that he didn't say much to them at all. And if you look, you can kind of tell that there were some things kind of off about him in general. So I'm not going to say that he was on anything. I'm talking about like any kind of, drugs or anything. I'm not going to say that. But I will say that if in fact he has had a stroke in the past, these are probably, the results of him having that. At the time, because to me it looks like there's some things that were kind of off with him from a medical standpoint that you can obviously tell. So that's just me. I don't know about you guys, but I'm going to go ahead on and just say it that way. Is number one, he didn't interact with the set at all when it was time for him to. He didn't engage in any kind of conversation. No one engaged in any kind of conversations with him, on the set. And I think that that's the reason why, speech-wise, and his ability to, what's the word I'm looking for? The time, him being able to, respond in a timely manner without, stuttering or anything like that, that basically was like, no, we're not going to have much interaction. We're just going to, have the set just between the three of you guys, the four of you guys, and then we're just going to move on from that. And, it is what it is. So tell me what you think. I could be wrong. I'm not going to say that he was on anything or, he has any kind of substance abuse or anything like that, alcohol or, drug issues or anything like that. I'm not going to say that, but it definitely to me looked as if he has had some difficulty or some issues with, a stroke within his since 1999. How about that? But again, I could be wrong, but it is what it is. Moving right along from there. Okay, we're going to talk about IceT now. IceT and his, what Well, in his family. So let's just dive right into that, shall we? Okay, what we got here. I also have an opinion about this, just a little bit of opinion. You guys probably, will agree or probably won't agree, but I have a take on this as well. So according to Today, Ice-T's wife, Coco Austin, criticized for sharing video of 8-year-old daughter playing beer pong. Some people didn't appreciate the second grader's skills. Okay, nothing to be proud of as a parent, said one commentator. Okay, Coco Austin brewed up controversy after she posted footage of her 8-year-old daughter, Chanel, playing beer pong. In a recent Instagram video, Chanel tosses ping pong balls into plastic red cups and nails 4 shots in a row as family and friends erupt into cheers. How is this possible? Austin 44 exclaims from behind the camera. I can't even get one. No one can beat you in a drinking game. They will lose, the proud mom tells Chanel, who can't stop smiling. The second grader later reminds her mom that she needs to drink now. After all, rules are rules, okay? Chanel's hidden talent, apparently, Austin captioned the clip. Followers praise Chanel's effortless ball handling skills, with many joking that the little girl is ready for college. Some people, however, felt that Austin used poor judgment by letting Chanel take part in a drinking game. Okay, this is my opinion. Of course, it's not fact, anything like that. In my opinion, is not that of any, company or anything that I'm affiliated with or anything like that. But let me tell you guys a little bit about my experience, and then you guys can probably have get some kind of take on how I feel about this. Okay. I could have been, I don't know. I'm not going to say 8. I was saying anywhere between 8 and maybe at 8 years of age. It could have been 8. No. I'm going to go on the safe side. I'm going to say probably about 11, 12, 13 years of age. I remember being at that age and older, still in my teens, and my grandmother but asked me to make her go into the kitchen and make her, a cup of coffee. And so there I am. Of course, I'm going into the kitchen. I'm putting water, in the pot, getting the pot hot, so on and so forth, making my grandmother some coffee. Okay. Now, of course, in making the coffee, adding the sugar and the cream and all of that stuff, of course, I had to taste it to make sure that it tastes right. I'm just saying, me personally, like I could have put those things in there, stirred them up, gave them to my grandmother. My grandmother could have told me, well, no, that's all right. That's go back and add one more spoon of sugar, or add just a little bit more cream or something like that, right? I didn't necessarily have to drink it. I chose to. We're talking about coffee here, okay? In doing that, I found out immediately I did not like coffee. I didn't like the taste of coffee at all. So you didn't have to worry about me drinking coffee, when I would fix it, make it for my grandmother. Now, my mother, on the other hand, as I'm getting up in age, I'm 13, 14, 15, 16 years of age and so on. So my mom would ask me to go into the kitchen, of course, and bring her a beer out of the refrigerator, wherever it was, right? So I would do that. I'll go into the kitchen, and bring it back to her. And so finally one day I asked her, I said, what, can I have a sip? And she looked at me like, boy, no. You know what I'm saying? She would tell me no. So me being, I guess you could say the mischievous child I was. So when I would go in one day, I decided, I was like, well, I'm going to taste this and see what this tastes like. So when she asked me to go in and to get her one, the next time or whatever, I would. I go in, I get, bring it to her, and as I'm bringing it to her, I will, open it up, and I would bring her to her, and I asked her, could I have a sip? And then it got around to the point where she would say, yes, you can get a sip. And I would. I'll take a little sip and give it to her, right? Now, it tastes good to me. I cannot, tell you that it did. I mean, it tastes great, okay? And so I was like, ooh, this tastes good, and kept moving. So, of course, I'm looking for the next time when my mother would tell me to go into the kitchen to, bring her, something to drink. And that's what I did, blah, blah, blah. Okay. One day, I did it. She asked me to go in. I went, and I opened it up. And I kid you guys not. When I opened it up, I drank almost the entire can. Like it was half of a can. And I brought it back to my mom. She was like, what? Like I drank all of it. So where am I going with this? What I'm about to say could be kind of controversial to some people, and I understand that. I would say, number one, if her mother is allowing her to drink, at least she's drinking with her mom. Do you understand what I'm saying? Like she's allowing her to get a sip of it. Okay, that's number one. Number two, I do know, I do feel like, I do think that it is not right for your child to drink. I just don't think so at all. I just wouldn't, encourage that at all. But in this case, rules are rules, but these rules don't apply to you because of your age, young lady. So when you tell me rules are rules, I would say, okay, it does not apply to you. Then I would also say, well, okay, you can have a taste, but just a taste, just a taste. I don't know what they was drinking. Of course, I hope it wasn't anything strong or anything like that. But I would say, okay, yeah, you can have, a little taste because, why not? You're here with me. It is what it is. But this is what I want to take from that when you're allowing your child to drink alcohol. And that is, you also have to understand that there's a possibility that your child would like it. And in my case, that's what happened with me. I liked it. Do you see what I'm saying? And it got to the point where, of course, I was responsible enough where I just wouldn't drink. I wouldn't drink. I knew I liked it. And the only time when I would drink, it would be when I went and got it from my mom, and I would take, a little taste of it. But it wasn't like I was just going into the refrigerator and getting one for myself and walking away, with it and drinking it 14, 15, 16, 17 years of age. I just wasn't doing that. But here's the thing. When you have parents that drink, right? And let's say, for instance, you have parents who have substance abuse issues, okay? You also have to take under account that there's a possibility that you opening up that door for your child. Your child could like it. And then in return, and then as a consequence of allowing your child to drink it, that your child now could possibly become addicted to the alcohol. And I know you guys probably would say, okay, you're far reaching, but no, that's why I want people to understand. It's just like any kind of food, whether you eating broccoli or if you're eating chicken, right? Your child would tell you, okay, I like broccoli, but I don't like chicken. Do you see what I'm saying? Your child is automatically, the taste buds is telling you, I like this. Your taste buds is saying to you, I don't like this. Okay, so that would be my concern with allowing your child to drink it. And then what if you have a child who thinks it's okay for you to go, for her or him to go into the refrigerator, wherever you keep your alcohol, since you're allowing your child to, drink with you or take these shots with you, your child could also possibly have the mind frame of saying, well, she lets me drink it with her. So I don't think it's a problem if I, take a sip of it while, I'm going into the refrigerator. Do you understand where I'm going? So you have to be mindful of those kinds of things. So I guess in wrapping all of this up is what I'm saying is that if you wanted your child to take a drink, a sip of it, I don't think it's an issue. But you don't want to open up some people would say Pandora's box, right? You don't want to expose your child to this, and your child probably ends up liking this. That's pretty much where I'm going. So she's the mother. It's her opinion about how she wants to raise her daughter. But I do believe that if her child got 4 in a row, I was like, baby, you ain't taking all of these. I would have I would have gave her some juice, right? I would have gave her some juice that probably looked like the alcohol we were drinking and said, baby, you're drinking juice. You're not drinking this alcohol that we're drinking. But hopefully it wasn't the strong stuff. I don't know what kind of alcohol it was, but hopefully it wasn't the strong stuff. So that's just my opinion. Raise your children, how you choose to raise them. I don't think that there should be a whole lot of backlash about it. I just want, IceT and his wife to, understand. Listen here, my child, I might have opened up the door for my child to like alcohol, and she's just at this age where this is something that she does not need to be exposed to. I don't know. You tell me what you think. I know everybody has an opinion about these kinds of things, but let me know what you think. So we're going to move right along from IceT and his wife and their child. All right, moving right along, we're going to talk about Darius. Yes, okay. And his whew, I don't know. Darius McCrary is pretty much saying all male actors have been inappropriately touched. That's saying a lot. That's all I'm saying. Like you put the entire every male actor, okay, in the business, okay, you have put them, I'm not gonna say on blast, but yeah, you put them on blast. Now, yes, of course, there are a lot of actors that are saying that they, as child actors, that they were pretty much, SA'd or touched inappropriately, in the industry and so on and so forth. Like he's not the first one to say it. And this is not the first time he has said it. He said it a couple of years ago as well. And he basically saying, yes, he was inappropriately touched as well, but he did not want to call out any names. Okay. And I'm looking at this from Media Takeout. And let's see here what they're pretty much saying. So in an explosive interview, Darius, who played Eddie Winslow as a child actor, explained that everyone in Hollywood, including men, have been inappropriately touched. Eddie explained, I said this before, we've all been inappropriately touched in Hollywood. It's just what it is. We all have been inappropriately touched in Hollywood, whether let's just say the audience realizes it or not. Okay. And during Cat Williams' Club Shay Shay interview, Cat nearly broke the internet by saying that Hollywood men are groomed by high-level executives in Hollywood and then forced into participating in let's just say gay activities to get ahead in the business. Darius appears to be confirming what Kat said about it. Now, here's the thing that I want to talk about briefly as it relates to people in the entertainment industry. now people are coming out and saying that, this person, SA them, uh, inappropriately touched them, graped them, and all kinds of things. I think what's the word I'm looking for? In an industry, the entertainment industry, where it has been sex, drugs, and rock and roll, if you will. That's pretty much what it has been. You have all kinds of uh, activities going on in Hollywood. I mean, you have, people who have shady backgrounds. I would just put it that way. And for the most part, these high level individuals who obviously can make and break a career, who obviously their money is long, that they can pay people off, and so on and so forth. So I'm not necessarily saying that what Darius is saying isn't true when he says all men are inappropriately touched, in the industry. It's almost like talking about this and making people aware is one thing, right? Talking about this and finally speaking out and saying, hey, this person did this to me, and you are maybe filing, a civil suit against the individual, and people are going to, possibly could be incarcerated for, what this actress or actor or singer said that this individual did to them. That's another thing, right? It's a whole nother thing. So I guess at this moment in time now, and this is me, now that now that actors and actresses and singers are finally coming out saying that these things are occurring, what next? What next? Because see, here's the thing. I don't want to get us caught up in this mind frame of, because we are talking about we want to, okay, I think I know what I want to say here. Let's talk about the LGBTQ plus community, okay? Feel however you feel about the community, right? But when I think about someone as Terry Crews, who came out and said that someone touched him inappropriately, right? So now all of a sudden, people are saying, oh, well, I don't know. I'm just throwing things out here like, oh, well, you're soft that you allowed somebody to do this to you. You didn't physically do anything to this person. Or this actor saying, hey, I don't know. I'm just throwing some up, just throwing out an example. Oh, what? Hey, my back was up against the wall, right? Like, man, I needed to, get this role because what? Financially, I'm kind of strapped. Like, I got things going on, this, that, and the other. Okay, I do this one time, one thing. I'm just throwing something out there, right? And so this person does it. Is what it is. Move on with it. I ain't thinking about it anymore. I'm talking about as far as allowing, I guess, sleeping with this male executive of this company just to get on, right? Because people do that every day, just about. I'm talking about, we're not talking about Hollywood, right? We're talking about just in regular businesses, right? Your day-to-day businesses. I can tell you a lot of women I know who slept with their bosses because their manager. When I say that, when I say bosses, I say, well, maybe bosses or supervisors, and they slept with them just to get a position, right? And there have been times when the boss slept with the lady, right? And she ended up taking him to HR because it was like, wait a minute, you didn't give me the position. So I slept with you, but you didn't give me the position. So I tell you what, this is what I'm going to do then. I'm going to report this to HR. And the guy got fired. Do you see what I'm saying? I can tell you, and I know you all out there know of instances where these things happen. So I guess what I'm trying to say is, at this moment in time, I think what we need to be responsible about is that, hold on for a second, is this an LGBTQ plus issue, right? And are we using this to put down the LGBT plus community because we don't like them, we don't agree with their, being in the same partner, same gender relationship. So since we don't want to agree with it, we just want to go ahead on and say, well, uh, we'll put out our opinions about it. That's where I'm going with this. Or do we, you see, because at the end of the day, when we're talking about things like this, it's about power and it's about control. Do you understand what I'm saying? And about you knowing your place. That's where I'm going with this. You're putting yourself in that position, right? So that's what we need to really and truly think about. And then on top of that, then when we get into the issue with people inappropriately touching, younger individuals, okay, the young individuals, that's another component in it and of itself. So I think at this moment in time, the responsible thing that we could do is make sure that we understand, what these terms are and what these situations are so we can put them in its proper perspective. Right. So at this moment in time, he's saying, like, this is what he's saying. Like, I don't know if it's true or not, but this is what I'm saying he's saying. And oh gosh, I hope I don't. Oh gosh, you guys, I'm sorry. I almost lost what I was looking at. So he's saying that every man in Hollywood has been touched. Okay. So former child actor Darius McCrary explains every man in Hollywood has been touched. So he's saying every man. He didn't say every child. So does he mean, he was touched inappropriately as a child? Or is he saying, no, I'm a man and I know that every man in Hollywood has been touched inappropriately? Do you see where I'm going with this? So now at this moment in time, it's still SA. We understand that it's still SA, right? But at this moment in time, too, I don't know. I just look at it right now. If we're talking about SA and if we're talking about grape, right, then I would like to think that we're talking about power and control, right? Because that's pretty much what it is. And you wanted to dominate an individual, okay? That's what I'm looking at this moment in time. And it's not right on that end. It's not right when you're dealing with the younger people and so on and so forth. And I think we need to get rid of this stigma that, how can I put it, that, you're a part of the LGBTQ plus community, or that you're soft just because you had these interactions, yeah, I don't know. Maybe I'll talk about this later in another video. Okay. Yeah, but let's move right along from this. Oh, wow, well, what do we have here? We have Beverly Johnson. Yes, we have Beverly Johnson. And I'm here to tell you, when I came across this, I think the part that shocked me the most was not that. The diet of the two eggs shocked me, but it was the fact that she said she was in love with the cocoa. and she had a diet of 2 eggs a week to stay thin. So let's talk about Beverly Johnson real quick here, okay? Actress and supermodel Beverly Johnson once lived off the cocoa and 2 eggs a week to stay thin, she says. Now, 2 eggs a week in the cocoa. We did not eat. And every time you came to work, they would say, yes, chisel to the bone, girl. It makes sense. Beverly Johnson is detailing the toxic reality of her early years as a model. The 71-year-old actress and supermodel who rose to fame in 1974 when she became the first Black woman to appear on the cover of Vogue says getting to that career high was no easy task. In a recent interview celebrating the 50th anniversary of that milestone, Johnson revealed that she did cocoa to stay slim after industry models told her to achieve a chisel to the bone look for photo shoots. Now, this here is according to Entertainment Weekly, okay? We were led to believe that the cocoa was not addictive, Johnson told Page Six. We didn't know the cocoa was addictive. Everyone used DRUGS back in the day, but that particular DURG for model was used because we did not eat. And it is what it is, of course. We know models, back then and there, they did all kinds of things, to stay thin. And eating very little was one of them. Of her own diet at the time, Johnson said, I remember eating 2 eggs and a bowl of brown rice a week. I would be shaking in a cab and I would say, pull over because I have to get a bag of M&Ms, okay? The diet and drug use developed into an unhealthy pattern that many in the model's orbit encouraged. I would just stop and get the shake, she recalled. We did not eat, and every time you came to work, they would say, yes, chisel to the bone, girl. Yes, like congratulating you. Nobody really told you the truth. Johnson explained that she didn't truly understand the severity of the situation until her mother intervened, pulling her out of a bathtub and having her stand in front of a 3-way mirror. It was the first time I saw my bones looking back at me, she said. It was a major wake-up call for me. Okay. Johnson, who had previously discussed the dangerous access to DRUGS in the early years of her career, nearly suffered an underdose in 1983 and later became embattled in a custody suit with her daughter. This led her to enter rehab, and she has since been sober for more than 50 years. Oh, wow. Congratulations on that. So, looking at this picture of her, I would say she does not look healthy at all when I'm looking at her neck and in her chest, right? You chiseled, yes, she looks good, but she doesn't look healthy. It's pretty much basically what I am saying. And I think that this goes back to what I was talking about with Darius McCrary. And that is that, we understand what this industry is, some of us. The majority of us, I guess, understand what this industry is. And, I give you a prime example. Say, for instance, you might ask a model, like, what do you do to stay so thin? Oh, well, it's genetics, I do this, I do that. And in the back of your mind, we're all agreeing with that person and clapping and so on and so forth. But at the end of the day, we understand. It's kind of like it's understood, but somehow or another, I think we'll get to the point where it's no longer understood, right? That without saying anything, that basically we could say, wait a minute, baby, we know you're not healthy. This look is not healthy for you at all. And you need to do something with yourself. And I think, with the writers' strike that just happened not too long ago, for whatever reason, no one is lobbying. There's a lot of money involved with that, but no one is lobbying. The industry is not lobbying for, these rights or whatever and these standards in the entertainment industry. And who knows, maybe we'll get to that point with all of these accusations that have been, coming out, and all of these lawsuits that have been coming out, that maybe we'll get to a place where, people will finally say, hey, we need to do something, about what is happening in the industry, and there needs to be, policies and regulations, and also protection, for people, in the industry. It's a shame to see that she's basically saying it was encouraged for her to do that, right? So, woo, child, that's a lot, isn't it? It's a lot. Yes, it is. Well, moving right along. All right, let's talk about Pat Sajak, and I'm not going to be on this long at all. Matter of fact, I don't have to go into any details about this or read anything. I thought that was interesting because I came across Pat Sajak basically saying that he yelled at this particular lady right here and told her to pretty much yell at her like, shut up, be quiet. And so I was like, oh my gosh, like, what did he do? Let me go back and look at the video and and kind of get my get an understanding, because I went in with the intentions of wanting to be upset. Like, I was already upset about, like, what Pat Sajak telling somebody to shut up for, be quiet. So, of course, I'm already, feeling a certain kind of way, and I'm looking for the clip. I couldn't find the clip other than some people doing commentary on it. And then lo and behold, I finally found the actual clip. Okay. And I'm here to tell you, this is my opinion about it, but I'm just going to say it. I'm glad Pat Sajak told this woman to be quiet. I am so glad. Listen, this lady, she wins, right? She's win. Obviously, she's happy that she won, right? She wins. But, and I know you probably you can't control your excitement, because, you won. But Pat has a job to do, and that job is, it's like, okay, you won, but now I have to continue to do this show. I have to talk to the other contestants. I have to, end this particular segment of the show, so on and so forth. So this lady continued to go like, and clapping her hands. And so finally Pat was like, will you be quiet, please? Will you shut up, please? And I don't blame him. Yeah, he could have, told her in a better way, possibly, but she kept doing it. And I'm sorry. I think I agree with him based off what I saw. And I saw, quite a bit of the clip. And I'm like, yeah, he should have told her to be quiet, because at this moment in time, it's time to move on with the show. But also, too, I happen to come across other clips of Pat Sajak, and it looks like this has been going on for a while with Pat Sajak, as far as him, pretty much, interrupting contestants. Now, here's how I look at it. You probably don't agree with me, but I'm going to say it anyway. And this is how I kind of see it. I see this as several ways. Number one, I see this as, I think that they probably briefed them, before they start the show, telling them the rules, what to do, what not to do, so on and so forth. I would like to think so. But then again, sometimes things do happen, right? And so I saw one clip where, this guy won something off the wheel, and he reaches down to pick it up, and Pat is like, oh, no, we don't do that. You know what I'm saying? He just pretty much told him, no, don't pick it up off the wheel. And then he says, hey, it's fine. Everybody was like, ooh, but he was like, that's all right. He didn't do anything wrong, because he was probably thinking, that, having seen the show in the past, that, yeah, that's what we did in the past, but we don't do that now. We pick this up and we move on and keep on going, and so on and so forth. It is what it is. But now, as I think about it, maybe he could have allowed the guy to go ahead on and pick it up and not say anything, and kind of just moved on with the show. Yeah, he could have did that, as well. And it looks like he had other things with other contestants as well. And then it hit me. And you guys probably don't agree with what I'm about to say, but you probably say, yeah, he does have a point when I say it, though. I don't know how old Pat Sajak is. I'm not quite sure how old Pat Sajak is. But I will say this. When you get a certain age, and it says here he's 77. So if it's true, let's just say Pat Sajak is 77 years old. But when you get a certain age, when you start getting up in age, you just become impatient with people. I'm sorry, that's me too. I'm not excusing my behavior at all, but I am saying, you know what, baby, something. Honey, stop. No, don't. That what are you doing? You see what I'm saying? Like, put that back. Like I think he probably is just getting up in age where he's at the point now. I don't have time to entertain this silliness or whatever the case may be. And I'm going to say that maybe that's what it is. I'm not quite sure, but that's just one thing that came to mind. So yes, could he handle it differently? Could he have continued to go on with the show? Yes. So I don't know. Maybe Pat, now we probably would have to say the show must go on. And I think that maybe, the executives can also say, to him, like, wait a minute, if they make a mistake, that's fine. Pat, just go with the flow because the show must go on, right?